Some watch collectors, they want to stay away from Rolex for that reason, for the perception and everything, all the baggage that's associated with that. And other watch collectors, they want Rolex. They want that name brand for the exact same reason because it says something to somebody that notices that watch. On my wrist today is the Rolex Day Date in yellow gold. It's an absolutely marvelous watch. It's beautiful. I love wearing it. I can't get enough of it. And I'd like to use this as an example in today's video, which is losing money on Rolex. Having watch phases or having your watch taste evolve over time, in a sense, maybe having watch regret or making mistakes. So with this one, the full retail price is $38,500. I spent that plus my local sales tax. So when all was said and done, I was in this over $40,000. Now, if I were to go sell this right now, I would lose thousands of dollars, especially if I went to an aftermarket dealer that maybe specializes in Rolex because they have to get it at below market value so they can sell it at around market value and make a little bit of money. So again, if I went to sell this right now, I would lose money. And it doesn't matter that I bought this at retail. It's not a hype model. If this was a super hype model, yeah, even on a flip, I would make money right now. But that's not what I'm going to be doing. Some of you are saying, Bruce, you're already going to... No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it. If I were to sell this in, say, 20 years, 25 years from now, obviously there are factors that we can't necessarily predict, like what the economy is going to be like, what the price of gold will be like. But on the whole, looking at history, Rolex watches appreciate over time, even if they're not a super hype model. So it's safe to say in 20 years from now, I will be making thousands of dollars on a sale rather than losing thousands of dollars right now if I were to get impatient and want to get out of this watch, if that makes sense. So let me read a viewer email that I just really related to, and I think a lot of you will relate to. So if you have an opinion, especially if it's different from my own, please place that in the comment section. But this one comes from Jack. Let me pull up my phone here and read it. Jack says, "Hi, Bruce. I'm a new watch enthusiast who deeply appreciates your channel. I'm also a pretty impulsive person," which I think is funny, right? Surprise, us watch collectors, we tend to be fairly impulsive. Not all of us, but a lot of us are. And I purchased almost on a whim last year a 1991 Rolex Oyster Perpetual Date 34 millimeter white dial with Roman numerals and an engine-turned bezel for $5,200. Now, here's the issue. I have fallen down the watch enthusiast rabbit hole, taking in a lot of watch-related content. I'm having a lot of doubts about the Rolex I purchased. While my style is more on the vintage side, I am a bigger guy and the 34 millimeter sizing feels pretty dainty. Looking at it sometimes puts a smile on my face and other times brings up regret. Now, I think this is awesome, Jack. I relate to it absolutely. And I think your case is opposite of the norm. Most people, they don't start collecting watches with the $5,000 Oyster Perpetual Date that's nearly 30 years old. Most watch collectors start off with, say, a $300 affordable or perhaps a micro brand, maybe up to $500. Most people start off, affordable watches, and before they know it, they've spent $5,000 over 10 affordable purchases over the course of maybe a year or two. And it's at that point that they go, oh man, I should have bought that $5,000 Rolex with how much I've spent on these 10 $500 watches. And I think it's funny because you're kind of the opposite. You started off with a $5,000 watch and now you're getting the regret, whereas most watch collectors get the regret after, buying a few affordable pieces and wanting that higher end price segment. So continuing with Jack's email here, I can't help but think about all the watches I would have spent that $5,000 on if I had done a bit more research. Seamaster, Speedmaster, Tudor Black Bay Chrono, to name a few. And perhaps more importantly, as a member of the clergy, I find myself a little embarrassed wearing Rolex on the day-to-day, as I don't want the assumptions of elitism or any other assumptions that people sometimes make when they see a Rolex, even a humble one like mine. And I totally get that, Jack. Everything that we wear, and especially how we treat people, that says a lot about us as individuals, whether it's our shoes, our jewelry, even our hairstyles. I've got the pointy troll hair myself, so I get that. And some watch collectors, they want to stay away from Rolex for that reason, for the perception and everything, all the baggage that's associated with that. And other watch collectors, they want Rolex. They want that name brand for the exact same reason, because it says something to somebody that notices that watch. Now, here's the thing that I found in, the years that I've been a watch collector is most people will never notice the watch on your wrist. It doesn't matter if you're wearing a Vacheron Constantin or a Rolex or an Omega or a Tudor. In fact, the watches that I found have gotten the most attention have been wild out there micro brands or very affordable watches, or when I had my own massive oversized Invicta phase years and years ago. Most people, they never notice the watch on your wrist, and it's probably safe to say that nobody will notice that 91 OP and 34 millimeters, Jack, but you never know. It definitely could be noticed. Now, the other thing I want to mention before we wrap up this email is the fact that our watch tastes change over time. And that's not a bad thing. I think there's this perception amongst us watch collectors that you have to do your homework right the first time. And if you fall out of love with the watch or you have any type of regret, then something's wrong with you. You didn't do it right and whatnot. And I say, no, the longer you're in the hobby, it's natural for your taste to change and want to experience different watches, because I think it's exciting learning about watches, learning about brands and models and history and technology. I think these items of mechanical art that we love are fascinating. So I embrace the journey. I say, yeah, it's fine if your tastes change over time. A lot of us have phases. And so the fact that you were once excited about that OP purchase and now you're having some regret, that's a natural progression of being a watch collector. And I don't think it's anything to be ashamed about. Now, let me finish this email real quick. I live near New York City and can easily find a buyer in the Diamond District for the Rolex at a major financial loss. I doubt I would get more than half of the $5,000 that I paid. Do you think I should explore selling or trading the Rolex and adding a modest bit of money into the mix and trying to find the Seamaster, Speedmaster, Tudor Black Bay, or something more modern that would capture what I'm really looking for in a dream watch? Do you have recommendations for the best way to go about selling, trading for someone who has never done it before and is apprehensive? Or do I simply accept my purchase of the Rolex, wear it, enjoy it, and just look forward to another dream watch a few years down the road? Patience and restraint are not my strong suit. And we are not struggling financially by any means, but the thought of taking a $2,500 plus hit stings. Jack. Now, Jack, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, because patience and restraint are not strengths of mine either. And I think most watch collectors fall into that category. Again, I relate to your comment and your journey. I'm excited for you getting into the hobby. I think we need more people in this hobby of appreciating watches, collecting watches, using watches. So I'll share my opinion here. It might not be the most popular opinion, but if you are already regretting this watch for a number of different reasons, that's not going to change if you just put it in the safe and wear other watches, affordable watches, for say 6 months and then go back to that Rolex. You might be very excited with that after, a couple weeks of getting it out of the safe. But eventually these thoughts are going to come back. 34 millimeters is too small. I should have bought a Speedy. I want to try a Seamaster, all of the stuff that we think about as collectors. So I would say go ahead and make the move, even though you will probably lose a couple $1,000, depending on if you get an equitable trade, if you work with a dealer. I know going with the dealer is the smoothest and easiest transaction, but again, they have to make money on a flip, so they're going to spend below market value. And it sounds like you're already cognizant of that, Jack. So what you could do is go on the secondary market and try to sell it private party, buyer to seller, and cut out the dealer, cut out the middleman, so to speak. It can be intimidating though, because you've never done it. It's a high amount of money involved there. So because you don't have any type of credit or feedback as a seller, anybody interested in that 34 millimeter OP date is going to want to probably use PayPal with buyer protection to buy that from you. And you're probably going to have to eat that 3 or 4% off the top. But here's the thing. Everybody starts somewhere to establish feedback and engage in private party sales. That's where you're going to get the most amount for that watch. Or if you trade with, say, someone looking to get out of a Seamaster or a Speedmaster or a Tudor Black Bay chronograph. I've had good luck with Watch You Seek, that sales forum. There's a good amount of collectors on there. You do need 100 interactions before your account has permission to post in the sales forum section. And that's just to discourage anybody that's trying to scam or spam or whatnot. It's really meant to show some commitment in the forum before you start buying and selling and trading. So I think that's a good thing, but it will take some effort. Here's another tip. When you go to post, take great pictures. You don't need to go out and get a great camera. You can use your cell phone, maybe go outside, go under a tree, go out in natural soft light and show off that watch and the condition, and be very transparent about service history and performance and any type of condition issues and what's included with that watch, and what method of shipping are you going to use. Be very responsive to people that reach out. Know that you'll probably get some tire kickers and maybe some insulting offers or trade offers, but that's part of the game. And I wish you luck, because again, everybody has a journey to go on. The longer you're in this hobby, your taste will change. You probably will make mistakes, but you are going to have a blast along the way. And people will be able to relate to you. Maybe something you've done in your collecting journey or a watch you've experienced, but nobody will wholly relate to your individual journey, because everybody has a different journey, and that's part of the fun of it. So, Jack, I wish you luck. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video response and that I've mentioned all aspects of your question. Let me know if I missed anything. And everyone watching, place your recommendations, your experiences in the comment section, especially if they differ from my own. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.